T minus 50 seconds. T minus 40 seconds. T minus 30 seconds. T minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Own it, own it, own it, Kong. I own it. It did.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet.
Thursday, y'all. Welcome to Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. My name is TK Trinidad. I am not alone. She's the editor-in-chief with some new hair. New hair did on a Thursday. Please welcome Santana.
Hello, hello. What's going on, you guys?
I mean, we out here. And you are not the only Santana today. So we have a lot to talk about. We're going to do the news later on, but we have to highlight a women's promotion that is happening this weekend. We have Jenny Santana. She's the general manager of UWW, Ultimate Women of Wrestling, and they're going to be having the premiere event this weekend in Las Vegas. A lot of great names. So Jenny, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you for coming on. So let's break it down. This is going to be the first event that's happening. So how did UWW come to be?
So UWW, Ultimate Women of Wrestling, is an all-women promotion focusing on and celebrating empowering women of all races, sizes, ethnicities, experience levels. We're going to feature top female talent from all over the United States and all over the globe. Many of the girls on our roster actually have competed for numerous years internationally as well as in the U.S. So, I mean, it's about that time to put your focus on women. I mean, you guys know you've been doing a great job and focus on the empowerment of women. These women are so strong physically and mentally, and each one is so beautiful in their own right and for different reasons. And it's going to be a great group of women all together on one card. It's going to be very entertaining, and we definitely focus on the fighting styles of the girls as well. So definitely very athletic and fight focused. So
yeah, we tend to have like a lot of like all women promotions starting to like come out of the woodworks, and it's so exciting because I feel like women definitely deserve to have their own promotions. There's so many talented women out there, and you can just mix and match, and you can have those dream women matches and everything like that. So how important was it for you to actually want to step up and create something like this, and include some women like Eddie Guerrero's daughter and Ivelisse and so many other women who are like killing it in their careers?
Yeah, so my partners who had, started this organization asked me if I wanted to be a part of it. And I mean, that was a no-brainer. Like, yes, of course, like this is an amazing concept. I know there's a lot of, female women promotions, but this is like, we're unique in so many ways, because just from the roster on. But I mean, we have our main event is Ivelisse versus Maserati. Ivelisse is an 18-year veteran. Mm-hmm. And so she's La Sicaria. Like, she has done so many things all over. And then Maserati, she's got so much momentum under her right now from the things that she's done in AEW. She's the hometown girl. Just that alone, I think is going to be worth the show. But then, our co-main event is also action-packed with Christy James and Santana Garrett. And that is probably the match that has the most wrestling years behind it, the most experience in one match. And so that's also going to be great. They both use the moniker Wonder Woman. And so, Santana being from the US and Christy having the Portuguese Brazilian heritage. And so, I mean, all the matches are so well constructed together and so kind of equally matched based on different things, whether it's experience or fighting style. We've got Lady Tapa in the Titans match against Genocide, and she's done great things in MMA as well, not only in pro wrestling. And so I was on a podcast with her not that long ago, and I found out that she had an MMA match against Gabby Garcia. And if anyone follows women's MMA, like, you for sure know who that is. And so just that strength and power and athleticism. But I mean, Genocide is also great. She's not giving up any strength or size. And so just each match is so well constructed, and they're just, it's going to be a great show. So I'm not even sure if I said it when I talked about UWW, but it's this Saturday, our first show, May 21st. It's going to be held in the Sahara Casino on the Las Vegas Strip. And for those of you, we still have some tickets available, but for those of you who aren't in the Las Vegas area and you'd like to watch it, we are going to be featuring a pay-per-view on Title Match Network. So feel free to check that out as well so you don't miss it, because we're just going to keep growing as an organization, and things are going to build and storylines are going to build and character building. So you don't want to miss 1 second of this.
Yeah, the match card is like
Crazy.
insane. Like Ivelisse and Maserati, like you mentioned before, is great. But you also have Shaw Guerrero, which you also mentioned as well. Both those people have been on the show. Like, who made up the match card? One, and then like what single one of these matches is amazing. So like, how long did it take for you guys to kind of put these all together?
So they kind of came together very quickly, and just by looking at our roster, like, it was kind of easy to come up with who should go against who based on different strategies and how many years the girls were training. But then there's also some, where there's veterans going against someone who's kind of up and coming. And that's also a good match because you have a veteran who has so much experience, but then you also have someone who has the drive and heat behind them. And that force is nothing to be reckoned with. So it's all around great. We're building a lot of momentum, and like you said, we're getting a lot of attention, and so girls are reaching out to us to be on the card. And so we already have UWW getting planned, the second one, and we have some new girls on there. So yeah, we're just super excited to have these top high caliber athlete females, interested in us on our card and potentially on our future card if they haven't been featured on this one.
Yeah, I think that's amazing, honestly. Like, I was looking at the match card and I was like, you got the Renegade twins on there. It's like, you have a lot of women that, like you said, we've seen on like AEW, we've seen on like Impact roster, some veterans, all different kinds of styles. The matchups are going to be very interesting to see, especially if people are not really familiarized with these women. What would you say, when the first show passes on and so many different shows and so on like that, what would you say is like a long-term goal, being a part of this?
I think a long-term goal is to get our name out there, to get all the female talent knowing about us and wanting to be a part of this. That would be great. And then we're going to have titles coming out. And so we have the belts being created. We have those titles. And so seeing who's going to be step up and stand out to get those chances to go for those titles, that's also going to be really exciting.
So is this going to be like a monthly thing, or what's the time frame as for each
Yeah,
promotion?
so right now we're going to be a monthly thing. Eventually we might become a little bit like bi-monthly, and we'll see. But yeah, we'd love to have a consistent residency where, it's just something that people in Las Vegas and, throughout the world watching on pay-per-view will come and get to know our name, and, we become a household name and become one of the great organizations, and just have all these women. Like, we are comprised of all women, which is really unique. From our ring announcer, like you said, Shaw Guerrero. She is Eddie Guerrero's daughter, the late Eddie Guerrero. Our referees, our merchandise coordinator, our VP, like it's all just great women, and women just supporting other women. It's a beautiful thing to see, and so
I agree. I think having women in the forefront of it gives away, because we hear all the stories and stuff in regards to, like, women trying to find their way into the marquee of the wrestling business, and mental has a big part in it. All these women have different stories and so on and so forth, and I feel like in the ring they're going to be able to show their story. And the more women that you guys bring going to the match cards for different shows, I have to ask, if there was like a dream woman wrestler that you would like to have on one of these cards, who would it be and why?
I would say, let me see. I mean, there's so many great women out there. There's so many great women in the top two organizations like WWE and AEW that we see all the time. I'm pretty new to being a professional wrestler myself. Like, I've had a few matches and have only been training for a few months, but I've definitely seen a girl named Viva Van. I'm not sure if you're familiar with her.
Yeah.
And she's really up and coming, and so I've seen a lot of her matches just because of like chance. Like, I was on the card she was on, or I was at the show that she's an amazing wrestler, and so I think she'd be a great addition to our show. But then, I mean, anyone who's like a top competitor, like, those are also great because they already have such a huge following. And so to have a person, if you look at like Santana Garrett, like her followers and supporters, like, she has so many. And so how can you go wrong with someone who already has such an audience that has such an emotional connection to her?
Right.
So let's talk about you. So you kind of made headlines a couple of weeks ago. I think it was a couple. I don't know. This pandemic feels like 10 years. It feels like 2 weeks. It's very time weird. But I do remember talking about you within the last month or so. And the articles that are coming out, I think for me, there was just a couple of holes as far as I just had questions, just me being nosy. So I don't know if you want to answer some of them, but the big news that came out was that you are the daughter of wrestling legend, WWE legend Tito Santana. And you just kind of found that out recently, and you didn't have much interaction with him. You kind of talked to some of his sons, stuff like that. Now that you're kind of really kind of getting into the wrestling kind of universe, has there been more discussion with him, or what's the relationship like now?
Yeah, I found out a few years ago, and we were able to talk, like text a few times and have a conversation, but then yeah, it kind of fell off. But there's a lot of similarities between us. Personally, like, he works for the school district in his hometown. I am an educator, like, working for my school district. We're both very athletic. He had like the football background. I have the jiu-jitsu background. He's obviously, a pro wrestler, everyone knows. Now I'm going into pro wrestling. I actually saw him, I think it was like last week, and we were able to talk again,
Nice.
and he seemed very supportive of, me taking the name and having it benefit me in any way. So I don't know what the future will hold. We shall see. Um, I am an adult when I found out, so I guess that kind of depends. He's got a wife and a family, and so I'm
Right.
sure it was a shock to him. Like, I am an adult, grown daughter. Here I am. But at the same time, I mean, I have my own children, and so we definitely share that DNA, and so I guess we shall see. It's kind of like a story unfolding in progress, as opposed to something that's already done. So, but definitely, I mean, the interactions I have had with him in person and on the phone, have been good. And so I don't know, like, I guess we shall see where that goes.
How did you find out? Because like what I think that was kind of the question I had. Like, you found out when you were an adult. So did your mom just not tell you, or it was just kind of one of those that era
Yeah.
where it's just like.
So
We're
she
just gonna
did
go with
not
this.
tell me. Yeah, she did not tell me. I found out when I was 16 that I was adopted by my father.
Mm.
And then there was kind of questions as to, who was my biological father, and we had brought him up, and she just kind of, denied it and got very upset about it, and so she just didn't want to talk about it. And so, you know, I mean, you love your mother, you're not going to want
Right.
to keep just, poking an open wound, obviously, which it was. And so, I mean, that's her story. But then, time went on and that kind of fell by the wayside. But then, I grew up, have my own kids, and DNA testing wasn't as prominent back then as it was now. And so I decided to do a DNA test, and I think it was like ancestry.com.
Mm-hmm.
And then I matched with all of the relatives that had his last name, and I'm like, I knew it. And she still was like, no, it's not him, and I'm like, okay. All right then. So I finally reached out and broke her down to tell her story of is he my biological father, and kind of her story behind how it came to be, and
Right.
so, and then when you get that information, you 100% understand. So looking back and you don't have all the information, you're kind of questioning, like, why are you clearly telling me something that's false? And then
Right.
you have the information and you're like, okay, you're my mother who loves me more than anything in the world. Like 100%, I understand why. But the fact is still the fact. And so, yeah. Then
Yeah.
so that
That's just
was
all. Yeah, that's all I like. That's kind of like the stuff that I kind of wanted to know. Again, being more on the nosy side of things, and then also too, I don't know if you saw Netflix, Our Father, crazy story. But they found out through was it 33andMe or 23andMe?
yeah.
All their
One. Yeah.
yeah. So it's kind of a different era. So shout out to your mom that loves you. She was protecting you. Totally get it. I was just kind of wondering, like, how it all kind of came to be. So
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely surprises came out on ancestry.com that I wasn't expecting. But yeah, that's another story. But
Yeah, another story. Back to wrestling.
yeah.
I mean, I think that's cool though. Your father being a legend and everything. What I'm saying, during his time as being like everybody loved. Santana. Like a lot
Yeah.
of people did. So I mean, I don't think that pretty much like changed your lifestyle or anything like that. I mean, you're still, who you are and
Yeah.
everything. In regards to wrestling, with the show and everything, do you think we'll see you step into the ring on one of these match cards? Or
Well,
is that a surprise?
I don't know. I mean, I would not be opposed to it. I am GM, so I need to take care of things. I mean, we've seen many times, like sometimes wrestlers can get out of hand and they need to be, I don't know, put in their place, or the boss needs to come down on it. So we shall see in the future. We shall see, but it should be interesting.
Ooh, I like that. Okay, there's some
Leaving
stuff
us with
going on.
surprises.
I know, right? So I mean, obviously, it's still in its infancy, but are you gonna also you guys gonna plan on having it in different states, like traveling a little bit, or?
So right now we're kind of focused in Las Vegas, but we shall see. I have gotten that question so much. So I mean, I think that in a few months or years, like, we would love to travel. There's a lot of locations that would love to have us. And
Mhm.
I think that would be a smart thing to do. The first ones we have set are in Las Vegas though.
Nice. I
Yeah.
think, and I'm, notorious for putting out the ideas. We do have WrestleMania coming next year in Hollywood. And WrestleMania, as Santana knows, because you were there, you guys were busy, booked and busy for the 4 days that
Yeah.
you're there. It would be a great, it's just a hop, skip, and jump down
Yeah.
to Los Angeles. So that would be a great thing. But um, just having like Santana began with, there's just so many great women's promotions now, and there's so many great female wrestlers that's out there. It's like it's even hard to you have such a great card, and I'm sure every card from this point on is going to be amazing. So as far as what people can look for. So if you're not in Las Vegas, you're going to watch it on Title Match Network. Is there any specific things that people should look for watching it?
I will add, what kind of makes us unique is we also have an entertainer coming. We have a singer, Nikki Page, who has been selling her songs to Disney for years, since she was 12, I believe. And so she's an amazing artist, from her voice to her creativity. She writes your lyrics. And so just to have her be a part of the show, she's going to come perform live. She's going to do the national anthem. She's going to do her new song, Bunny Hop, that just dropped, and then an encore performance. And so not only to have amazing athletes in the ring and being entertained like that, but you're also going to get like the unique sound of her, and to have a live performance, which is really a great opportunity for us. Like just the energy. We would love people to watch it on pay-per-view, but it's always that live energy that kind of fills you when you're there. So definitely, if you're in the Las Vegas area, I don't think it would be a bad thing to check us out, grab a ticket, hop on down to the Sahara on Saturday and see it live.
Yeah. Do you guys think you have like for each show, will there be like a different performer, or will it like be like a all like women performer that performs every time you guys have a show?
I think that it would be smart for us to stick in the women, no matter if it's another singer or something. But our whole thing is kind of empowering women, so it just makes sense to have the women be the focus of it. Whether it's the wrestlers, it's the girls inside, the people running it outside, or the main entertainment besides the matches. So I think that we'll probably stick with women performers for now, whether it's Nikki coming back or having a new one, and we shall see.
Well, there it is. Thank you so much, Jenny, for hopping on. You want to just plug the event one more time in Vegas and how people can watch live?
Yeah, so if you're in the Las Vegas area, tickets are still on sale. The first event, UWW1, is at the Sahara Casino on the Las Vegas Strip. It's May 21st, this Saturday at 8 p.m. We have a live pre-show also that's going to be happening at 7 p.m. And if you're nowhere near the Las Vegas Strip and you want to watch, which we hope that you do, we're going to be on pay-per-view, Title Match Network. I think it's like $9.95, so definitely check it out. Follow us on Instagram, UWW Fed. We also have a ton of merchandise, from clothing, tumblers, playing cards, shoes, hats. Definitely get geared up with UWW stuff. We have a great, unique logo, and I think that people will love it. So definitely check us out. You can get tickets. The link is via UWW, the page, or you can go directly to Sahara's page and get to it that way. So for sure, follow us and be part of it from the ground up. UWW1 this Saturday.
Nice. And we'll also post that information on our social media for people to check it out as well. I say we, I mean Santana, because I forget. So please and thank you. So thank you so much, Jenny, for coming on. We definitely have to do this again. So let us know when the second one is coming, and we'll, kind of get more of a build up a couple days, a couple weeks in advance, so we can let everybody know. But thank you for letting us know. And much luck. And I just have a feeling that you're going to show up and just accidentally slap somebody. I don't know. I just had that feeling. Just because. And then now you're really in the second event some way or somehow. That's just, I don't know. That's what I'm thinking.
But yeah, definitely I will come back on and let you know how the first one goes. We can announce the date, let you know the date for the second one, and talk about, we have some new girls on that card. So yeah, I would love to come back and keep you guys updated about UWW, how it's going, and definitely keep your interest peaked.
Sounds good. And we do have an indie women's show that is going to be happening every Saturday. So we'll make sure to add that to the list. Just coverage, and make sure we show you guys as much love as possible. So thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you. Have a great night.
Thank you. You too.
Bye.
Man, so many women promotions. This is just absolutely amazing. I am a fan of all of it. But with that being said, we also have to talk women's news, and there's a ridiculous amount of women's news going on. I thought I was gonna headline with one thing, but that's not what's gonna happen. We're gonna start with something else. So breaking news happened, which, as a journalist, and I think you can add to this too, Santana, as a journalist, when they say breaking news, like 10 years ago, breaking news was like, we're about to go to war, or something crazy is happening that will affect your basic necessity or somebody's basic necessity of living.
Yeah.
Now breaking news is I'm just gonna show it to y'all because I'm sure you guys can know what I'm talking about. Is Stephanie McMahon, and it's not. I mean, it's not fun. It's just, I guess it's just news, but breaking news, a bit of a stretch. But the news is Stephanie McMahon is taking a leave of absence from WWE. Given the fact that her husband has kind of sort of done that too with his announcement, he's no longer be wrestling. What did you think of this? And also, do you think we're giving it too much attention?
I think people may be taken out of context. I think it's more so like, she just maybe she just taking a moment to just, maybe focus on her family. I mean, she did put out a statement actually, where she did address as to why she would be taking this leave. She said
Oh, you got
that
it.
yeah, she just said that like as of tomorrow, I am taking a leave of absence from the majority of my responsibilities at WWE. WWE is a lifelong legacy for me, and I look forward to returning to the company that I love after taking this time to focus on my family. So it's not necessarily like she's like relieving of like her duties and whatnot. She's just taking a step
Right.
back to focus on her family. There could be some issues and stuff going on within her family that she may need to take away the stress level of being a part of WWE for a second and put some more time to focusing on her family. And then once everything is pretty much okay there, then she'll probably return back. Who knows? She may pop up on TV or something, or something of that nature, let you know like, hey, I'm back now. But I mean, I think people may be
Reading a
thinking
little
as if
bit
like
more
she could be
into it.
leaving a company because of other situations that have happened earlier this week or so on and so forth. But I just think that maybe she's just taking a break from going on just think of it as she's taking a vacation,
And folks, she has 4 kids.
literally.
And one of the kids I just looked up is 15. And if y'all don't remember, the other one's 13.
Mm-hmm.
The other one's 11. If y'all don't remember yourself at those ages, and they look like the majority of them are girls,
Yeah,
that's if
like
you can
all
afford
girls.
to take a leave to get the
Mm-hmm.
family together, like kudos to Stephanie
Yeah.
McMahon. So
Mhm.
I think people don't take that into consideration. For me, it's just the great the good and bad thing that I love about pro wrestling and pro wrestling news is that we
Mhm.
get excited about everything, every
Yeah.
little morsel. And the bad thing is we get excited about every little morsel. Like, when it broke, it's like the internet kind of, and then the speculations and all this other stuff. And yes, of course, Shane, is Shane back, or did he come back, or is he not back yet?
No, he's
I
not
think
there
we
no
saw him
more.
briefly.
Supposedly, as of right now, he's not back. He's not there anymore. I mean, of course, they let
Right.
him go before Royal Rumble, and then they brought him back, and then afterwards, just like we're gonna let you go again. So I
Right.
mean, Shane is just floating around wherever he can get in there.
Right. So it's just kind of like, and then on top of that too, remember that it's not like a private, just because their names are kind of attached to WWE
Hmm.
doesn't mean that it's owned by them. So they
Right.
have people to answer to. They are definitely trying to go more into the entertainment way of thinking. I
Hmm.
mean, I'm sure in the contract it said you can't fire Vince. I'm 99% sure of that. Else
Yeah.
that deal just wouldn't
Not
have
at
gone
all.
through. But again, it is what it is. We have
Mhm.
JD in the chat. Don't forget Triple H with his recent health scare. Stephanie might be having to carry a heavier load
Mhm.
at home. Definitely.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, people who have been, not even people who've been married, families in general, like there's just so much stuff that happens that you just are not privy to. So,
Mhm.
you know, it is what it is. So with that being said, I hope everything is, not crazy in your household, Stephanie. Take your time. Also, be thankful that you can take time, because there are a lot of people in this world that
Right.
can't take that time. So kudos to her. Shout out to Ricky in the chat, 1991. Hey, thank you for joining us. Please stay tuned, y'all, because we have so many shows today, and we have some big announcements, and we have another show happening in less than 90 minutes that I'm kind of excited about. So please stay in the chat. We will discuss it all. The next story, see, there's so many stories I kind of want to tackle first, but I think I might jump around a little around, Santana. So just, what I sent was just,
I'm just listen. I'm just a co-host. I just follow suit.
an outline. And this is something that I've been saying for a while in general. So Scarlett Bordeaux and Killer Cross are making the same amount of money on the indies as they are in WWE, which I think currently is not a surprise. I've been saying this for a while, that there's been a shift in the last maybe about 2 or 3 years, where there's some wrestlers who have a name and who's been grinding for a long period of time, that they can now afford to not have a shoot job and make a good amount of money in the indies. Like WWE is not the end all be all with it. So what do you think about this?
I mean, what I think of it is that, with Scarlett and Cross, they already had their names, and build a platform for themselves way before they got to WWE. And so even though their time there wasn't the best, and after them leaving, they've been wrestling. Scarlett's been in the ring. Finally, people kind of get to see, what she can do, and of course, everybody knows what Cross can do. They get married and everything, and it's just like, the star power that these two have together. I can understand why they would be making that kind of money, the same amount of money they was making in WWE. But honestly, it really depends on how much money they were making in WWE for it to be making the same on the indies.
Right.
So,
yeah, well, I mean, kudos to them. Yeah, definitely. They have the star power. They have the looks. I mean, I remember Scarlett when she was on Impact, and it was just kind of like, there's just something about her, and she wasn't even saying much. So, kudos to them, for sure. As Ricky is ready. Ricky said, "I'm excited for the Creep Squad After Dark." Creep Squad. So I had a feeling, that's because I don't think I've seen your name before, Ricky. So Creep Squad After Dark is happening. I guess we could do a little promo, because that's what we are here for. So Creep Squad After Dark is happening at 7:30 my time. And then you guys can do the rest of the squad. But here's a little promo.
I love you like la 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 la. I love you like la 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 la. I love.
Now,
I think you're on mute, TK.
my computer's being a little feisty right now, so if you can just okay, I think we're back. I think.
Yeah.
All right. So definitely check that out. Creep Squad After Dark is happening in about 90 minutes. With that being said, that actually leads us to our next story, and Ricky actually mentioned them. So they have the same star power of Mia Yim and Keith Lee. WWE did Lee, and yeah, they definitely did. I just don't think. I think when it comes to diversity, and I definitely am not the one who always plays like, oh, it could be this, it could be that. I just don't think they have the right people in the back to be able to tell people of POC people like their stories. Like you can't be creative if you're not versed in that. So Mia Yim has made her Impact return, which you guys had talked about. She's going to be in a tag team match. So where do you think, because Mia Yim, has been she's been part of the indie scene for a long period of time. She was a part of Impact. She left. She's part of the indie scene. She did WWE, and now she's back with Impact. So, what do you think? Like, where do you think Mia Yim's career is going to be with Impact and beyond?
Well, the only thing I know is that right now, it has been stated that she signed a 6-month contract with Impact. So I mean, it doesn't. I mean, I guess maybe she's trying to see how things are gonna go in Impact before she maybe move on somewhere else. Who knows? When her and I had the discussion at WrestleCon, I told her, I said I would love to see, Jade, that was her name in Impact. We're 10A at the time, but I would love to see her back in Impact. I mean, she kind of already dropped a spoiler on me that she was going to be coming. So I was just waiting until she popped up, and she just happened to pop up in Under Siege, which was like amazing, and they had the tag team match tonight, which her, Taya, and Jordan Grace actually did win. So, I mean, it's just kind of like opening up for, things that's going to lead up for Slammiversary that's happening June 19th, where, of course, the Salt Shakers will be there live in Nashville for Slammiversary. I mean, I'm wherever Mia chooses to go after Impact, where she stays in Impact. It's just the fact of like that she's happy being able to wrestle, even if she's even if she's with a company, or even if she's still wrestling on the Indies, which she does have some matches on the Indies too, even though she's doing her thing in Impact as of right now. I just think it's nice to be able to just see her on your TV screen and just actually just see her wrestle and do what she loves to do. I think that's what it's like for all of these wrestlers who came from the Indies and went to WWE. Their careers, some of their careers last, some of their careers didn't. Who's like a WWE superstar versus an indie star, and you can pretty much tell the difference. But you can tell how WWE has grown them in a way that their wrestling ability is either a lot sharper than what it was when they, came from the Indies. So I mean, like I said, wherever Mia Yim chooses to go, I'm gonna be right there watching it.
This is I'm really excited with her. There's just, I mean, Impact. I think now they're starting to show Impact some love. We've been showing Impact love for a while, but now they're starting to show Impact some love.
They get on the Impact bandwagon now. Yeah, people were just saying 2 weeks ago how Impact was trash and I can't get into it. I'm not gonna watch it. But now look at y'all. It's Impact Thursdays. I'm finna watch Impact. I'm finna go to the shows. I'm finna have me some little after shows and all this and that. And it's just like, okay, now y'all want to be a part of Impact. Now y'all want to be a part of the Impact squad when Ruins Wrestling Talk been doing that, along with some others that's actually been having their own little Impact stuff too. But we the main ones who really been talking about Impact. Everybody else just trying to follow suit, get in where you fit in there.
Well, I mean, I think with Impact, it's the best of both worlds. You still have some realism, you still have some storytelling, you still have some suspense of belief. I mean, oh my God, I could see her face, but I can't remember her name. We had her on the show. I want to think Charlotte, but that's not her name. It's going to come to me. But you have storylines where it's just like that just doesn't happen in real life. But it still kind of brings you in. So Impact has been doing well, and I feel like they're finally finding their groove. I think once they left Pop TV, I think like 4 years ago, they kind of were trying to find where they can fit in. I think what the time it's been consistent, kind of sort of. But the storylines have always been consistent, and I think that's what it is.
Same with the wrestling. The wrestling has been consistent too. Like to this day, Impact has one of the best knockouts divisions, like women's divisions ever. It's definitely, I would say it's definitely up there in regards to like WWE. Of course, AEW, they're still potentially growing and doing their thing. But I have to say, like Impact, those girls, they really wrestle, whether they have storylines or not. They really, really wrestle down there, including the men. They wrestle down there too. So I mean, Impact is definitely thriving a lot more now that I think that they're on Access TV now. Even though it's not like I think that's the fact of like Impact's roster is so well diverse.
That part.
in style of wrestling and characters, or just not even just characters. I just think they're just this is people who they are, but they're really, really nice people outside of the ring. And
Mm-hmm.
it's the fact of that I think if they had like a bigger platform, like maybe on a bigger TV network, I feel like they would have a lot of eyes on them, and everything. But when their shows are pre-taped and people are already putting the spoilers out, it's kind of like, well, what are we gonna watch it for? We already know what's going on.
It's a
For
catch
some people.
22 because I almost feel like Impact is a small business, and with small
Mhm.
businesses, you have a little bit of you have a little bit of reign what you can do with it, right? But then
Right.
when you get more people, a la like WWE, with their partnership with Peacock and Saudi and all
Mhm.
the other partnerships that they have, you have people that you have to cater to. And with
Mhm.
that being said, it's not about what you want to do; it's about what's the majority want to do. And I think that's the same thing with
Right.
AEW. AEW, it came with the pure it came with the purest intent, but now it's getting really, really big that you have to cater to the majority and not the minority.
Right.
So a couple of things. So JD wants to let us know that you are right. Santana Impact was a meme for a while, still is in
It
some
is.
circles. Now I'm seeing a lot of people with full bandwagon excitement lately. This is true. And the thing is, wrestling is wrestling. I
It is.
mean, you can take away the storylines. The wrestling is like top notch. So, even if you can't get into Impact per se, I mean, shoot, just turn off the volume and watch the wrestling. Like, you know,
Literally.
that part. So also shout out to Cuff Daddy 82. I have a feeling that you're here for you're here for Creepstar After Dark, which is going to be happening in an hour and some change. So please stay tuned. What up to World Breakers as well. So thank you guys for joining in the chat. So that there's that part. I want to save this to last because I think we're both gonna have a tangent about this one. So yeah, I think we can go straight to this one. Sasha Banks and Naomi walking out on Raw. Now this happened on Monday, so it is kind of old news. However, like I said in the very beginning, breaking news, not so much. Um, First off, there's been so many reports. So let me get your take on it, Santana. Do you think this is a work, or do you think this is like real life? This is what's happening.
So as days, kind of passed by, I mean, it kind of happened in the midst of like with Nikki and I happened to do the post show on Monday for Raw. You haven't watched that, you should go back and watch it. But
Available on Twitch and YouTube
it is.
and on the website. So check that out.
Mhm. But for me, in the beginning, as I looked at it with the whole Sasha and Naomi thing, I mean, with there's so many different reports and going on and stuff like that. So I know someone had asked me like, do I stand with Sasha and Naomi? And I said, from a personal standpoint, yes. From a journalistic standpoint, I feel like I want to hear their side. I don't want to hear the other wrestling journalists who go talk to people at WWE tell you what's going on. I want to
Right.
hear from Sasha Banks and Naomi to tell me exactly what was the reason why they chose to walk out. You know what I'm saying? I would like to hear from them. I can care less what any of the other publications are putting out reports from who they spoke to backstage and who's telling this and who's telling that. I would like to hear from the source. I would like to hear from the people who chose to say, so they say leave their titles on the desk and walk out. You know what I'm saying? How I look at it is that, and I know a lot of people, there's a lot of rumors saying that, oh, well, Sasha's not getting any sympathy, or she's getting backstage heat, or there's nobody saying anything about Naomi, or Naomi's contract is about to expire.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of different things that's being said in regards to this whole situation. And all I can say is that I just really, whatever Sasha and Naomi chose to do, if it honestly, if it's not a work, and this is something that like really, really, really happened, then there is definitely a serious reason as to why. I know people are going to say Sasha Banks is a crybaby. She's this, she's that. She's been wanting to leave and all this and that. announcing her. I just think that at some point, when there's so many reports going on, trying to get to the bottom of what's going on with Sasha and Naomi, why they chose to leave, or whatever. But there wasn't any reports when there have been previous wrestlers who have left, and nobody said anything. Nobody tried to get any information or nothing like that. But when it comes to two talented Black women like Sasha Banks and Naomi, everybody's in an uproar. Everybody's making opinions. Everybody's making assumptions. Everybody's writing reports, trying to be first, trying to be right, and all of y'all are just wrong. You don't know what's going on. You don't know until they come out and say what's going on, and it may be the likes of that they may not. Now, if in this case, if this is a work, then this is a very interesting way to get you guys looking forward to Friday, just to see if Sasha and Naomi is going to show up.
Right.
And I think that maybe if they were, then maybe this could be the point where Sasha and Naomi go heel, and we combine Team Bad together, and Tamina go down to SmackDown.
Here's the thing. I completely agree with you with all of that, and it's kind of one of those things. Oh, I also want to show this because I that Monday night, a lot of people were tagging me as if I can do something, but y'all know I ride for Naomi. We even have a shirt, so go and check that out. But it's we just don't know, and the speculation is kind of crazy. The fact that Sasha stands up for herself, not necessarily, her, what's the word? What are they saying that she does? Essentially, she's a crybaby, but are you a crybaby if you stand up for your rights and what you feel, how you feel you should be treated?
She complains a lot about things that's like not going the way that she may want it to go, and so on and so forth. And it's just like being on the job. If you don't like something, I'm pretty sure you're gonna go to your manager about it or something of that nature. Or if you don't believe in someone's type of values or whatever, you're not gonna stand for something. You know what I'm saying? That just shows you how well that Sasha Banks does value herself. There's been plenty of times where Sasha Banks has she may have left or wanted to take a break because she's going through something mentally. I mean, hell, look at Naomi. Naomi's been through so much, and half of the time, the things she's been through she's taken the fault for other people's mistakes,
right?
And it sucks. And what the other thing that upsets me is the fact that when this whole Sasha and Naomi thing was going on, there was nobody really on social media really degrading or bad mouthing Sasha Banks like that. When it came to Naomi, y'all was throwing out racial slurs, y'all was throwing out these disgusting pictures, side by side photos of Naomi, and thinking that it's funny, and it's not. Y'all only do this to our Black wrestlers. I don't see y'all do this to the white wrestlers at all whatsoever. Y'all cut them so much slack, but when it comes to Black wrestlers, y'all are so hard on them. Y'all always got something negative and degrading and racist to say, and it shouldn't be that way. When y'all know that, and I think it's the fact that y'all know that. In a lot of these companies, if they didn't have Black wrestlers, who knows exactly where it would be?
That's the thing. It's
talent,
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, why, if you're gonna hate on Naomi and Sasha, then be an equal hater opportunist on all wrestlers. Like, if you're gonna do those type of pictures, then everybody should get those type of pictures. And if not, if you don't see yourself doing that to other wrestlers, then like your answer is right there. It's just kind of like, the N-word. If you feel like if you feel like you can go to any hood in America and walk up into the barbecue and say the N-word and feel safe, then go right ahead. But if you know that you can only say it in certain places, then your answer is right there. It's like certain things I feel like people just pretend like they're stupid, and some stuff is just common sense. As far as there was also the storyline where Sasha made Naomi walk out. Naomi is a grown woman. She can make her own decisions, and just on how they've been treating Naomi for the last 3 years. JD says he wants some barbecue now. As far as how they've been treating her for the last 3 years, as far as storylines, as far as not having a storyline, as far as not being on TV for a ridiculous amount of time. And let's get this out of the way too. let's be completely honest. As far as mic skills, Naomi is okay. As
Yeah.
far as a wrestler, Naomi is amazing. But we've seen plenty of wrestlers who are okay on the mic and amazing in the ring get way more airtime than Naomi. And you know, the
They
thing
do.
is, they're not giving her, you know, great storylines. The storylines that they do give her, they're just trash. So now that you have a great storyline, and I heard you said this like 2 weeks ago that their title's not going to last because you know Sasha and Naomi are on two different paths, just like Bianca and Naomi are two different paths. If you can't
Yeah.
see that, you know, we don't need to point all
Something's
that
wrong
out.
with you.
Right. So like I think it's just out of sheer frustration. And if you come to a point in a company where you're like, this company is this is as much respect they're gonna show me, and I finally get, and now I'm speaking as Naomi, not for Naomi, but you finally get a storyline where you can sink your teeth into, but you're not getting the matches that you want, and you know the end is coming near, and you know you're going back and forth, and now people allegedly, because we don't know what really happened, now
Right.
people are kind of calling you out, then you're going to say bump that. And I said this to somebody else, Naomi's been at the company for 10 plus years. Her and her husband, like, they don't seem like they ball in it. They don't seem like they took all their money and they're, you know, spending it and balling out of control. So if she's like, bump that, I'm out. And you know, they already said they wanted 5 to 6 kids, so it's just kind of like one of those things. However, it might be a work. Just the whole thing with Sonya, like, you know, that they strung us along, and I don't think the payoff was that great anyway. But they strung us along with that for so long, and we were calling like, this is not okay. And you know, that was a work. So on the flip side of it, now that everybody is talking about it, maybe they should use that to get, you know, the better matches and make sense. But how can you have a better match when you don't have great women tag teams within WWE instead of these makeshift tag teams? Like the Salt Shakers is a tag team. Like it was a tag team before you even all had names. You know, I think some stuff makes sense, right? So it's just kind of like you're not going to get the good storylines if they're not putting time into making actually good women tag teams versus just sticking these single competitors together. And I think some women also have to realize that maybe the single route is not for you. Like, just coast on this tag team and make it work and create. Like, look at what the New Day has done. And of course, they treat the men totally different than they treat the women. But that is a blueprint in itself. How the New Day came about was something that they created together and they fought for. So, you know, and maybe that's what Sasha and Naomi are doing right now. Who knows? Like I said, I think the title of this episode should be not breaking news. Like I said, this is not breaking news. The fact that they got upset, people do that all the time, and if they come back great, we all do it. If they come back, great. If it's a work, great. If they don't come back, they're not going to be like Sasha has been acting like she's good. It's not going to be those situations where WWE has painted some people, not painted, people have allowed WWE to put them in that corner that once WWE's left, like, you know, fired them, they have no idea what to do. Those Naomi and Sasha are not those two.
No, they both build their names within this company, and they're both so well beloved outside of the ring. Every time Sasha, you know, she disappears, she come back, she's going to get a pop. Every time Naomi comes out, she gets a pop. You cannot deny that these two women who, when you first put them together with Tamina, that Team Bad was like, even though I know for a fact that it didn't last that long, and of course, you know, you had them turn on each other. But now I feel like with Sasha and Naomi, they're both on a different level. They both grown within this company. And to see them back together, it is nice to see Sasha and Naomi back together in their own characters in their own way. And it's nice to see them be the first Black women to hold those tag team titles. It just sucks at the fact that you would, if so, you put them in a 6-pack challenge match to face Bianca and Hell in a Cell.
That was just,
it's dumb. Why do you have your tag team champions and another tag inside of this 6-pack challenge? And from what the story was, the fact of that Naomi was supposed to go over, but she was supposed to pin Sasha Banks. Why would you? Why if you wanted Naomi to go over, why Naomi couldn't pin, you know, Doudrop or either Nikki Ash or something. Like, why not just, or I mean, it's kind of just stupid, the fact that why would you even put them in this match anyway?
Right.
Yes, of
And the
course,
thing
we
is,
would love to see Bianca and Naomi. We
Mhm.
would. But do we want to see Sasha go against Ronda again? No.
and
What
the
is that
thing
gonna
too is that if Naomi pinned Sasha, right, it's just kind of
Mhm.
like that's kind of the end of the tag team.
It
And you're
is.
not thinking of the long term. Like they definitely have star power separately, but you're
Mhm.
looking at merchandise. You're looking at like a whole contingent that you haven't been catering to that
Mhm.
would go, you're seeing Sasha on, the fact that Sasha was with Kevin Hart on
Right.
Cold as Balls. Like that, those are all things that bring attention to WWE. They're toting themselves
Mhm.
as an entertainment company, then
Yeah.
you want to cater to all factors. And the thing is you have so many characters on the roster that can cater to different demographics. So not why not play to that? Like if you
Mhm.
don't have a story, like even if Naomi were to go over, we already know that what's going to happen to the storyline.
Yeah,
She's
we
going to
know
go
that.
over,
Yeah.
it's going to fall flat.
Mhm.
I don't think she's gonna get a championship. I think that last time she had a championship is the one and only last time, like the only
Mhm.
time that she's gonna have a championship. I don't think she's gonna have a
Mhm.
championship ever again in her career.
No.
So if we know that, you
Mhm.
know, WWE has to know that. So why not? So
Yeah, but I mean, having her go against Bianca, like I said, I think that'll been great. I would love to see Naomi and Bianca have a match together, but
you also need to make
but we
sense though.
also, it does. And why would you put it? It's not as if, like, I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to do the same thing how they did with Sasha and Bailey, having them go after the singles title so that they can hold both the titles. But when we know for a fact that Ronda wasn't going to lose as SmackDown champion, and
Hmm.
Bianca wasn't going to lose her Raw Women's champion at Hell in a Cell, it was not going to happen. It would have been a great match. We know for a fact that it would have. It would have been a nice
Right.
story to have, but we just know that it wasn't going to happen. And then all the thing you're doing is going to try to have them feud with each other, have tension between them, just to create a story out of it. When you actually have some, you do have some tag teams on your roster and whatnot. It's just the
Right.
fact of that they may not be the best. They may not be believable champions or challengers. The only other challenge I think were believable, I would have to say, is like Natty and Shayna. They're at least a believable tag. I
And that's
will
the
say
thing though. They're like still a makeshift tag.
they are, but I
So
feel like
instead
they
of like
do work.
instead of the writers trying to force Naomi and Sasha to do stuff, why don't you write to create
Mhm.
actual women's tag teams? Let's do that. Let's do that first. Let's give Sasha and Naomi a break. They can talk smack. They can do all that
Mhm.
stuff, and let's actually get some legitimate
Yeah.
tag teams that are going to be together for at least a year. Like I feel like that should be the thing. If you guys are going to do a tag team, then it's mandatory that the tag team be together for a minimum
Mhm.
of a year, unless
Yeah.
it just completely doesn't work. But just don't throw women together. Like Sasha and Natty, it makes absolutely no sense. Like I mean, Naomi and Asuka made no sense. Like in Naomi and
No.
Lana, kind of, sort of.
I would have to
Like, you
say
know what
I
I'm
did
saying?
I like Naomi and Carmella together. I mean, both of the girls come from a dancing background.
Right.
They both of them together. I did like. I mean, Naomi and Carmella. I mean, Charlotte and Oscar didn't make that much of a sense either. You know
No.
what I'm saying? I think it'd
None of
be
them
like,
makes sense.
no, not at all. I
No.
mean, Zelina and Carmella,
That don't make no sense.
no,
Wait,
not
what?
really.
Yeah.
By no means necessary. I mean, of course, like I just feel like the tag. They just really don't care about those tag team champions. They
No.
really don't. And it shows in the fact of that you don't have that many tag teams, and the ones you do have, you just put them all together. I mean, what was the point of having Rhea and Liv together when they weren't going to be there together that long? And now
Right.
you have Nikki Ash and Doudrop, who technically started working together prior to the whole tag team thing, when they was doing the whole thing with like Becky or whatever.
Right.
But I mean, other than that, you don't really have that many tag teams to really have a legitimate tag team division, because you've let all your tag teams go. Let's be honest. I feel
Right.
like now is like it would be the perfect time to have a lot of tag teams. Unless you're gonna call some girls up from NXT or whatever, but it's still not gonna make a difference because once they get to the main roster, they're probably gonna be a tag for at least 3 to 6 months. They're gonna break up and feud with each other. They're gonna go have their little singles run. One was
Right.
gonna be greater than the other one, and then eventually both of them gonna get released, or they're gonna get put with somebody else. So it's like we look at it's the same cycle all over again. Just
Right.
just throw out the tag team like titles, get a mid card title for the women, and go on about your business. Literally,
Right.
as
But
of right now, the
the
24/7
problem,
title is considered to be a women's mid card to me because Dana
right.
Brooke is holding it.
When the problem with that is that even if they were to get rid of, I mean, it's the same issue with the tag team titles or not. They just don't have storylines for the women. So even if they got rid of the tag team titles, created a mid card championship or mid card belt, they're still not going to be enough. They're not going to feature women. And I think at the end of the day, that's kind of what the whole thing that I think we all at Women's Wrestling Talk has been saying for a long period of time is that they don't have whoever's in the back, whoever creative is, they're not writing great stories. Like the fact that you literally just gave the storyline of 3 factions that got destroyed, that were great factions, that could have been great tag team matches to this day. Like, you know, if they kept them around and not broke them up, you know, it's just kind of like why? What are you gaining from doing that? Like, take the time, sit down with the ladies and have an honest conversation like, hey, you're not going to get a lot of airtime. So let me know who you would like to work with and if it makes sense for everybody. And let's actually put some time in this. Because, for instance, New Day, when they first started, nobody really liked the New Day. They came out with cry. They were way churchier. Nobody liked the New Day, but they let them keep pushing on.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like, how come New Day and other people can fight for their belief in their character, but when Sasha and Naomi does that, they're crying and they're, you know, being, what was the word? They didn't use aggressive. They used another word. But it's just kind of like
unprofessional. Like this thing because of the fact that they're Black women, and it's the fact of that whenever Black women have an opinion or a say so, or they're not feeling something, they coming off as being angry Black women, aggressive, unprofessional, crybabies, whiners, all kind of names in the book. And it like, why can't women want better for themselves in this division? They know that it's sucky. They know that it's not the greatest. They know that it's not what it could be. WWE has a really nice roster of talented women wrestlers. They really do. Whether they're good on the mic or not, whether they have a character development or not, they have a pretty decent roster of women wrestlers. They really do. And it's so much that you could do with them. It's so much you can do. And I think the best thing as of right now that's coming out is that we're running the circle back with Bianca and Asuka, where they're going to face a Hell in a Cell when, like, you know, a year or 2 years ago, when Bianca won the Royal Rumble and she had an option between to choose Sasha Banks or Asuka. And, you know, at some point people really thought she was going to pick Asuka, but now we get to spin the block again where Bianca is the champion and Asuka is the challenger in the Hell in a Cell, where Bianca is currently undefeated at.
And, you know, we could even beyond Black, we could just talk about what they did with Asuka's career when she went to main roster. Yeah. Like, that's a whole nother like conversation. Yeah. So
it was terrible. Like, it felt like, you know, when Becky kind of, and I mean, even with that situation, I mean, it honestly, Shayna could have went over Becky, which Becky Lynch actually wanted Shayna to go over, but WWE didn't want that. And so, I mean, come to find out, you know, Becky ended up getting pregnant, but being pregnant or whatever, it just defeats the purpose of the whole Money in the Bank thing, you know, and because she didn't have nobody to cash in on. So, I mean, here we are. But I mean, I feel like Asuka and Shayna would have had like a really nice feud. Shayna as champion, something that she hasn't had the singles, as being a singles competitor, had the opportunity to do. Shayna Baszler's run on the main roster has not been that great either. And,
not that great. It's been terrible. It's not been trash.
The only thing I say that's been great about it a little bit is the fact that when she was holding those tag team titles with Nia, That was a little bit something.
But okay, that was
It
something.
wasn't
But
that great.
did that matchup make sense? Like
No.
that's the whole
Does
thing.
it?
That tag team made absolutely no sense.
No,
And
not
it's
at
just kind of
all.
like, okay, great. Like if you can, and of course, as wrestlers, you can't
Mhm.
dictate how your whole career is going to be unless you're like Cody Rhodes, essentially.
Yeah.
But that didn't make any type of sense. And as a wrestler, you're pitching this idea to me that visually it doesn't make sense. Like Shayna, even as a singles competitor, they're not doing her justice what they could have done with her.
No.
Like the fact that she has the MMA background, they could have used that. Like her dominance on NXT compared to
Means
what it
nothing
is
on the main
now, it's just
roster.
like, wait, what is this? And the
It
thing is,
means nothing.
right, Vince doesn't like it. If you're gonna change their characters so much, like NXT is like a whole different promotion, then
Mhm.
don't even bother have NXT, and or just have Vince run all the shows. So there at least something makes sense. That's like having a child and then they get to 5. You've been calling them Tim for 5-10 years, and then at 11 you're like, you know what, I'm gonna call you Kenny. Like,
Mhm.
wait, what? That is
I'm gonna change the way you dress. I'm gonna change the way you speak. I'm even gonna change your theme song too, just so everybody can forget who you were before you came onto this main
in the
roster.
same promotion. Like I understand it's a different promotion, but it's in the same. It's still called
It's
WWE,
just
right? Like
literally, and I like I felt bad for Shayna because I do like Shayna Baszler. I think she's I think she is what they try to paint Ronda Rousey to be.
and
Honestly,
why they're not and why they have not used Shayna and Ronda, like the fact that because they didn't come from a wrestling promotion. The fact
no.
that Ronda was Shayna's coach for UFC, I forgot what the name of the
Mhm.
show is, but I remember watching that show. The fact that they have that connection from
Mhm.
all them years ago was like 13 plus years, and they're not using
Yeah.
that as some type of storyline. Like even having Shayna and Ronda together as a
Mhm.
tag team,
That
that
would
would have
make
made more
sense.
sense to me as a tag team than giving Ronda the belt. Like we all know why they gave Ronda the belt, and let's not take that away from Ronda working hard and
Mhm.
the fact that this is mainstream media, this is not for wrestling purists. But
Of course not.
doing a tag team of Ronda and Shayna, that makes sense.
It
Like
does.
it's
I mean,
I don't know.
it was to subtract the fact that how Ronda is not the best speaker. She can't not hold herself on a mic for life at all. Sir, but Shayna can definitely speak on a mic. It's like that she can be the talker. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? She can be
Thank you,
exactly how
JD,
she
the
was.
ultimate fighter. That's what they
Yeah.
are on. Thank you,
She can be
JD.
exactly how she was in NXT when she had Marina Shafir and
Mm-hmm.
Jessica McKay. I think it was Jessica. I think it was her name was Jessica. Yeah, with
Mm-hmm.
her. Like how it was in NXT when there was like like 3/4 of the 4 horsewomen. You know what I'm saying? And to
Exactly.
this day, we never even got the 4 versus the 4 match.
You let them
It would have been
go. Like
something. That could have been something. I mean, you got the 4 horsewomen, Sasha, Bailey, Becky, and Charlotte versus Shayna, Ronda, Jessica, and Marina. That could have been something there. There's so many different teases that they had with that really could have took place, but it's kind of like they just kind of just scraped it. It really is.
why? Yeah,
I have
and
absolutely
that
no
for that
idea.
to happen would just I mean I don't ever see that happening now.
No,
Um
not at
it
all.
might happen on the indies, but I don't think Ronda will ever do the indies.
No.
I think once she's done with WWE, it's a wrap.
Yeah, because I mean,
So
Shayna started on it. Shayna did do indies though. She did wrestle on the indies before she did come to
she
WWE
did do
for a
indies.
little bit.
She was off at she was off at Shine. She did a
Mm-hmm.
lot of indie stuff because she was
Stardom. Yeah.
working it like it made sense. But the
Mm-hmm.
fact that you have certain things that are like certain things that are just that they just to us make sense, and to others
Mm-hmm.
it's like no, we're not gonna we're not gonna
No.
do what makes sense to you. We're gonna do what makes sense. We're gonna put Naya and Shayna together because I don't know, they have 2 vaginas, so it makes sense. Like
It's
I
awful.
it is completely awful. I think we had our rant. I already sent Alicia a time code, so you're gonna hear Santana's clip on how we feel about this. But I will not prolong. That is the news for today. Definitely go and check out United. Let me get the name right because I don't think it's United. This week, man. Ultimate Women of Wrestling. So that's happening on the 21st in Las Vegas. So definitely go and check them out. Definitely show them love. If you were watching Women's Wrestling Talk, then I'm assuming you love women's wrestling because, I mean, why else are you here? So go and show them some love for sure. Other than that, like I said, we have 2 more shows for the day to go. If you haven't watched our NXT UK talk with Stephanie and Katrina, go and check that out. That is on our Twitch channel. It'll be on YouTube tomorrow. And we have Creep Squad After Dark starting in less than an hour. I feel like I should have like a timer or something. In less than an hour. So come back here on Twitch to check that out. And then right after that, hopefully it doesn't go, over. We'll see. Right after that, we're talking Impact. We're going to be testing some new systems. So definitely, look and feel of Women's Wrestling Talk. So definitely check that out as well with Santana and Nikki. So full pack show on Friday. We have SmackDown. Check that out. On Saturday, we have an indie women's wrestling wrap up with Mika, Katrina, and Emily. And then on Sunday, we have Turnbuckle Glam. So we have a lot of stuff going on almost every day except for Tuesday. And I think that's going to change shortly. Other than that, Santana, editor-in-chief, where can everybody find you?
Like I always say, you can find me on Google. You just type in my name right there, and everything you need to know about me will pop up on Google.
Also check out our website. Santana is the editor-in-chief of Women's Wrestling Talk. We have a new website, which I just realized doesn't have our t-shirts on there, so I need to add that. So we have a updated, there's always something. We have an updated website. Check out WWTalkPod.com to get the latest news, the breaking news, Stephanie stepping down. So definitely check that out. All the late breaking news for wrestling. Check out women's WWTalkPod.com. And then also,
you have to type in Driune.
Thank you to our folks who have been watching us, JD, Ricky, World Breakers. I don't know where Bose is at. I don't think Bose usually comes on the news. The news hasn't really been consistent either. We're gonna find a consistent time, but shout out to y'all for checking in with us. But yeah, you have to type the first name in. JD. Other than that, you can follow me on everything at TK Trinidad. Follow everything as far as women's wrestling talk on WW Talk Pod, Instagram, Twitter. We are on TikTok now. We're actually blowing up on TikTok. So if you have a TikTok account, please go and follow us, WW Talk. Other than that, I guess, because I'm moderating the shows today, so I guess I will see you guys in an hour. Oh, we have a raid on Twitch. Oh, this is our first raid. It's like feels so yummy.
I know that girl, Queen Lorraine. I think her name is Alex. I think so.
Okay, well, shout to y'all. Thank you for your raid. I don't quite understand it, but I heard it's really good to have a raid. Other than that,
it's like an invasion, like we did on y'all. Yeah. Hey, Alex, Queen of the Ring. She does a complex thing with Jobber Tears. I listened to the one that they did with Bianca, and they recently did one, I think, with either Thunder. I know they did. I think they did one with Thunder Rosa. I know they did one with Big Swole. So yeah, I'll be listening to y'all stuff and everything. It's really good.
Chris Ring says yes.
We got our first raid.
Yay! Well, we're also gonna follow you as well. So I'll go and hop on and follow you guys. But thank you for your raid. Thank you for your raid. I think it is. I don't know. But thank you for the raid, and on top of that. Also, we should have you on the show because you're a woman and you love wrestling. So let's make it happen. I guess we'll see you guys in an hour. I am super excited about this show. Creep Squad After Dark. Woo! I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know what they're talking about. So I will be. I don't know if they're gonna be talking wrestling. I don't know. They can be talking about gray sweatpants. I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't know. Me and TK, we are officially part of the Creek Squad. Faye did give us the approval.
Yeah.
So just to let y'all know, TK might not be saying it in the chat, but I am.
Oh no, I'll be in the chat. I'm trying to. We're trying to advance women's wrestling talk to a next level. So I'm working on some stuff behind the scenes. So yes. Other than that, thank you guys so much. Thank you for our first raid on, was it May? Are we in May? May 19th. Thank you for our first raid. We're almost at 100 followers on Twitch, which is great in less than a month. So we're getting there. So stick with us. And other than that, what happened?
That great short season about to start. That's the best season ever.
That part. Other than that, we will see you guys in an hour. Creep Squad After Dark.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet.